Hey there, Internet Cube here, and welcome to the Cars and Cube YouTube channel. And if you've watched my videos before, this may look familiar. I did a video several years ago on all of the connections to try to help you hook up your pressure washer and some of the issues that people come into that they don't notice they may have the wrong fitting size and that kind of stuff. Well, this is part two because I've learned so much since then. I've added so much to my setup. There are things that people are doing to their setups like adding filtration systems, wanting to upgrade to a better foam cannon, using a hose reel, different types of hoses, the different types of size pressure washers, all that will be in this video. Now this isn't in the title, so those of you who are actually watching the video, you get to hear about the 10,000 subscriber giveaway. Stay tuned throughout the video and I'll give more details. Now this can be intimidating for some to just go from their out-of-the-box solution that they got at Home Depot or Walmart and their hose sucks. We all know that the stock hose that comes with most of these is bad. But what we need to know first is what size outlet do you have on your pressure washer? So I'll turn the VE52 around here and you can see they look the same, but they're not. They're off by 1 millimeter. And this is the biggest confusion for most people out there when it comes to pressure washers and getting aftermarket parts for it, and then it's not working. Speaking of active VE52, the giveaway pressure washer is the active VE56, which is the same as this. The only difference is it doesn't come with any of the accessories. It only comes with the cord that's part of it, and you don't get any of the cladding that gets put on here, and you don't get the hose, the spray gun, or anything. You have a blank unit. Now, kind of in the US and most of the world, 14 millimeter is the standard. That is what the majority of all of your aftermarket accessories are designed around. Now, there are things moving to the 15 millimeter world, but really, truly, you only need one thing, and that is this right here. This is a M22. So an M22 is your common threading, and that's the same across all of the different thread size. This piece right here, that is the same, the outer circumference. But inside, the piece inside of here can be either 14 millimeter or 15 millimeter. So that's one thing that a lot of people learn really quickly is because the 14 millimeter, since it's a smaller size, it can fit on a 15 millimeter, but it doesn't seal. And you learn that real quick when water just starts pouring out of this outlet right here and you're wondering what the heck is going on. More than likely you have the wrong size. Now if you have a 15 millimeter fitting, it will not fit on the 14 millimeter because it's too large. So it's just this one fitting. You are converting your 15 millimeter small world of fittings and stuff to the 14 millimeter world. We have our Uberflex hose right here. Really great hose. I just tried it out recently. Connects directly to your pressure washer just like your stock hose did. And you'll have a much better, flexible, longer hose to use with your stock system. So speaking of the Uberflex, that's part of the giveaway. Brand new 50-foot Uberflex hose will be part of that giveaway setup. So we've got our hose hooked up to our pressure washer. Now we need to hook up to our gun. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to help any of you that have a hose that connects into the bottom of your pressure washer gun through some kind of weird connection that's proprietary. If you're running a 15 millimeter pressure washer, this inlet piece right here is a 15 millimeter as well. You're going to need two of those adapters, one at the unit and then one at the gun. You're going to connect your Uberflex directly to it. And the great thing about these M22 fittings, you can tell how many times I'm having to turn this, is because this gives you basically a leak-proof tight seal without ever having to use any kind of tools. So now you want to go to the next level, which is basically turning your hose and everything into quick connects, shortening the gun. We have not upgraded fully to a new gun yet. We're using this hose. We're on a slow upgrade process. You can go all out or you can do a little bit at a time. So first we're going to do is we're going to take this wand at the end. This gun is already long enough. We really don't need a wand. Now if you're wanting to convert your stock gun that has an M22 fitting at the end, this is what you need. This is an M22 14 millimeter on one side and your 1/4 inch quick connect on the other side. Simple, screw it in there. And now we have turned our OEM gun into a shorter gun, more controllable. We have our quick connect at the end for all of our nozzles, and then you will have your hose connection here in the middle. Now for that hose connection, there's a kit here that I strongly recommend. My problem is it's a little expensive. It's about 68 bucks, the McKillen stainless steel kit. So these are amazing fittings, and the only people out there that have M22 fittings like this, where the entire inside is also stainless steel. And plus, all of these have upgraded Viton O-rings, which seal much better, last a lot longer, more durable. Well, McKillen sent this kit out for the giveaway. This is new in the box. The stuff I show you here in the giveaway that I'm using here, this is my stuff for the video. You're getting brand new products in the box that have not been used before. This kit will turn your entire stock setup into a quick connect setup. Now in that kit are 2 full sets of garden hose quick disconnects. So you have your male end right here, and your female end. This is a Flexilla hose. I love this hose. Just like the Uberflex, I was kind of against this type of hose until I just went to it. It's so much lighter, flexible, it lays really well. And plus the Flexilla has a swiveling top right here. Female end goes on that. Right there. Now for your house connection, you're gonna have a spigot that's coming out of your house. We have a quick disconnect for the house. Your male end on your hose is going to hook up to your house. And then you're set up there. And then when you're done, if you don't want to store your hose outside, easy quick connect in and out. So you have a male with a thread for your pressure washer. Now your garden hose setup is going to be the same across both pressure washers. And now we hook our hose up to our unit. Now that you got your garden hose set up with your quick connects, let's move on to the Uberflex or whatever hose you have that has the M22 14mm fittings. In the kit, you have those 2 M22 with the 3/8" male plugs that I showed earlier. Goes right into your pressure washer. And then on your gun right here, we have another one. This is going to allow that hose and the quick connects to hook up easily. Now that we got the males on, let's go with the females. We have a M22 14mm to 3/8" female, and that's going to just screw right in at each end of the hose. Just like that. Now we have our quick connects. We can hook up our pressure washer, and now we can hook up our gun. That's everything you need to go from your stock out of the box with your normal gun and then, add your hose, but have those quick connects. Really nice feature. And this gives you that upgradability for the future as you want to step up your setup and add an aftermarket gun. So you're looking to upgrade your spray gun and you really don't want to move away from the M22 and you want to stay in that kind of setup world. They have these cheaper guns out there that have the M22 fitting at the bottom. Basically, you're going to take that male piece, just like you did for that gun, and you're going to hook it to the bottom of the gun this way. But these cheaper guns, the triggers aren't always the best. Some of them are pretty good. This came with a foam cannon for like $35. So that's it for that gun in this video. So let's move on to aftermarket guns that already have the fittings on them. SGS 28, great upgrade to go to. The active short gun, great way to go to. Slightly different. Speaking of the active short gun, that's a part of the giveaway. That will be the trigger gun for this setup. But don't worry, you're getting a brand new one in the box that has not been touched yet. I want to thank Active. They actually sent me a review unit. I actually paid for the unit for the giveaway, so I kind of paid for half of it overall, I guess you would say. Difference between these two really is this one has a clickable trigger that helps you keep that held down. But you also have the really easy pull. And the SGS 28 has the easiest pull trigger out there. You can sit there and hold this with almost no tension at all. The wrist fatigue on this device is almost nothing. It's like it's an extension of your hand. So we have our gun here. We have the setup the way it was. You have your quick connect that you already hooked up to your Uberflex. You had your fitting on your old gun. You want to go to a new one, already has the fitting on there. There we go. Easy upgrade path. Already has what you need. You already had the quick connect ready to go. This helps you over time, like I said, step up, or you could get this all at once. So to show you real quick, here is a gun that doesn't have anything on it. And normally always the bottom is a 3/8" female and the top is a 1/4" female. You have a 1/4" threaded MPT on one side of this quick disconnect. On the other side is your 1/4" female quick disconnect. Just screws into the top. Now on the bottom I have a male 3/8" plug on one side, and on the other side I have a 3/8" MPT thread. Screws right into the bottom of the gun, just like that. Make sure you torque these down right. Use Teflon tape if you need to. But now you can take your Uberflex with your quick disconnect and hook it up to one of these. Say you bought this from Northern Tool or wherever, or got off the internet and ordered the one without the fittings. Now, maybe you've got a gun that you want to turn into a swivel. Well, you can do that. We have a swivel here, 3/8 male on one side, 3/8 female on the other side, right into the bottom of the gun. Or you could put this on the hose, or you could double up. I've seen people have double swivels. So now we have that on there. We take our plug for a 1/4" quick connect, 3/8 male, 3/8 plug. It does make the gun longer, obviously, but if you're trying to save money, these are the things you're going to have to deal with. And there we go. You see how long this is to the bottom of the curve. There's a lot going on there. These are the different kinds of nozzles that are out there. You have your colored ones, right? Your whites, your greens. Your white's 40 degrees. Your green, 25 degrees. Your orange, 15 degrees. And your red, which is 0 degrees. And sometimes you get this black fitting right here. This is mainly if you have a pressure washer that has like a built-in soaked reservoir. But this works really well for using your pressure washer hose when you turn your pressure washer off and you just want to hook it up to a deionization system and you don't want to have to hook a water hose up to it. You want to use the same hose, then you can use this right here. But it gives a really nice rinsing rain type pattern. It's really good. The pressure stays the same between these nozzles, but the 40 degree has a wider fan. So your concentration of pressure, once it releases out the end of the nozzle, spreads out. Go down to 0 degree. You are concentrating all of that PSI into a single stream. Obviously, you're going to put your finger there, you're going to get bruised, or you're actually going to get your skin cut. So the different machines have different outputs, the amount of water that's being flowed through. So that orifice has to deal with the size of the inner part of the nozzle. The smaller it is, the higher your pressure. The larger it is, the higher your flow. This is a nozzle guard. So the purpose of the nozzle guard is this is a protective outer coating that if you don't properly seat your fitting into the device, when you press the trigger, the pressure is going to shoot it out because you don't have it connected. Also, if you're just around the car, you accidentally drop it, you're more or less likely to not scratch or damage the car. Most of them out there are 30 to 40, but usually the ones that are 30, that website charges shipping. You can get this on Amazon for 25 bucks. Another thing you can use with your trigger gun, this is a pivoting coupler. This allows you to change the angle of your nozzle. So it's going to hook directly into your spray gun like this. So now if I want to like go underneath the car so you can turn this because this is a swivel. And I want to get underneath the car, but I normally have to do like this. Now I can hold the gun straight across and I can shoot directly straight up. Now obviously you have your wand. This is just an extension of a spray gun. You're taking that quick disconnect here and you're just putting it further out. So that way you can put your tips on here. And a lot of these already have built-in angles. There's tons of different lengths, angles, holders. Like you can hold this like that if you have. And this way you don't have to bend your wrist as much because there's already a built-in arc. Adding a shutoff valve. So this is a much more heavier duty shutoff valve. The size inside the middle is much larger to allow more flow. But for just about anything that you're doing around the house with these out-of-the-box electrical pressure washers, you're never going to meet the limits of one of these. This is the cheaper one. These are like $6 or $7. It just has a shutoff valve. That way, if you're hooked up to the unit here and you need to just quickly turn off the water, you don't have to walk all the way to the house. You turn your pressure washer off because you don't want to run when it's dry. You flip your switch and the water stops. It's a big time saver. You wouldn't think so, but it is. Now let's just say you want to go to the 3/8 hose. It's much more heavy duty, handles more pressure. Obviously it's a bigger orifice on the inside. It has less pressure drop, but it is heavier, which some people do like. It feels more industrial. And a lot of people go to these because they already have the quick connects on them. It already has a female quick connect and already has a male on the other side. So before when we were working with the Uberflex, we had the quick disconnect with this male plug. But really, truly, when you want to go to the 3/8 hose, you only want to go with this. You only want to go with this. This is an M22 on one side, the 3/8 female on the other side. So now you have that on the device. You're going to take your male end, quick disconnect, have it hooked up to the machine. Now you have your female, you have your gun, and there you go. I mean, really, we're beyond what most people's setups are, right? You don't have a wall setup. But now we want to go intricate. We want to go crazy. We want to add deionization. We want to add a hose reel. So now we're at the point to where we need to make sure in our setup, sometimes the ports for these devices are in different spots, and sometimes we need other fittings to make it all work. The problem you have with this is when it's on a wall, you have a hose that is on either side. One of them is going to be kind of getting in your way. Then if you solve that up against the wall, you're going to have a hose that's just coming directly out of the front of the pressure washer. So your jumper hose or whatever it is for your hose reel, it's just going to come way out and loop. So how can we solve that? So, well, from the garden hose side, you have one of these right here. It's a 90-degree angle. All we're doing here is say that we want this against the wall. This allows us to have the elbow for the hose. Now you can do this with a quick connect like this to the back. This is, you know, a wall setup is a semi-permanent kind of thing. And then we have our hose hooked up like that. That way we're not going this way. We're not messing with the curvature of the hose. We're not trying to kink it to make it fit. Now this is a little more difficult because they don't just make elbow M22 joints that I know of. You basically have to put them together. This is what this right here. This is 3 pieces. You can move this elbow in any direction that you want it to be in and then finish your tightening. You want it to flow that way, you want it to flow this way, you want it to flow up. 3/8 female elbow on one side and a 3/8 male on the other side. Male goes into the one side of the M22. Once that's all torqued down, use Teflon tape here for sure. And then you hook up your male, and then you have your elbow. Now you have just about everything out of the way when it comes to hooking up your pressure washer setup. But say I want to do a spot-free rinse, or my water is really bad and has a lot of sediment in it, and I want to catch a lot of that sediment. So you would add some filtration. So these housings are normally all the same for your 10-inch. Like this is a 10-inch. So all the filters inside are 2.5 by 10. The housings for the 10-inch are all the same. They're 3/4 inch MPT at the ends, and normally they come in 2, and some of them come already put together. This one already does. Now, if you buy 2 of them, you need to put them together. They're 3/4 inch MPT, so you need a double male, and more than likely you'd want a shorter one, but you want to leave enough room in between for you to be able to fit your filter wrenches in there to be able to undo the filters. So you need a little bit of room. About this much is perfect. So I would suggest something kind of like this, which is a little bit obviously longer. That gives you a little more room there in the middle. So at the ends, the 3/4 inch, you need to convert that to garden hose thread, right? Because the garden hose is going to go in one end and it's going to go out the other end to the pressure washer, or just directly to a hose to just spray on the car. So you have the one end 3/4 inch, and this is all going to depend on your setup. So there's all kinds of different ones you can use. That one right there converts that 3/4 inch to a garden hose thread that's male. Well, maybe on the other end you need a male connecting in because you have an unorthodox setup. Well, get one of these. 3/4 inch MPT. That plugs into the end, and it has a swiveled female 3/4 inch garden hose thread on the other side. So now you can do both. Make sure you're using Teflon tape here. Don't over tighten. Don't let that bolt go in the inside of this housing because you're going to strip out threads. Here's a metal version of this. Or you could have double females. It just depends on your hose setup. So my hose is going into the input. Now pretend this is another hose. Now I have my female against my male on that side. Like I said, you can have different variations of this. But now I can take this, goes directly to my pressure washer via either quick disconnect or directly into the fitting that's on the unit. So like I said, you can do it 2 ways. You can still run this through your pressure washer and then use your pressure washer hose with that black tip that I showed you earlier with the pressure washer off to just use some rinse type rainwater to get that final spot rinse. That way you don't have to have multiple hoses coming out of the pressure washer. But you could use another garden hose connected to a garden hose spray gun. Now foam cannons, really, there's not much going on here. Just about all of them have the 1/4 inch, but the MJCs come with tons of different adapters that allow you to use theirs with other stock spray guns. Just kind of like that adapter that I showed you earlier. Now the cool thing about MJC is it uses an M22 fitting at the end. So it has an M22 to 1/4 inch fitting. But say you have one of these stock guns and you don't want to buy that upgraded adapter. You've already spent a good bit of money on one of these. Well, it hooks directly up to the end of the spray gun via this M22 thread. You can hook an MJC directly up to an M22 fitting at the end of a spray gun. And that's it. That's all you have to know about foam cannons, really. So once you have that quick disconnect at the end, you can hook it up to any spray gun. So what's next? We've gone through the garden hose, we went through the deionization system, we're into the pressure washer, we're outputting from the pressure washer, but we hate having to deal with winding that hose up to store it. It curled up on the floor, and then when you pull it off the curl, it's going to want to loop. Well, here comes the hose reel. So if you're mounting this to a wall, 4 big lag screws is good, but if you're hooking this up to a cart or anything mobile, please make sure you use the backing plate, because at the bottom here you have 4 holes that you can put into a wall. But if you're putting on a thin piece of metal in the middle, it's going to want to bend that metal. But by having the backing plate on the other side and using the nut and bolts to crimp it down, it's going to disperse the, the tension a lot more on that metal. So in order to hook that up, you're going to need a jumper hose, which is just a smaller version of a pressure washer hose. Usually comes with 2 3/8 males at the end. Some of them come with a swivel at one end. The swivel makes it easier to connect the hose when you're in a fixed position. Because anytime you take one of these kind of jumper hoses and you spin, it just wants to do that, right? So having that swivel is a big help. Now you get to choose how you hook your jumper hose up to your pressure washer. Do you want to use what I showed you earlier, the 3/8 male here with the M22 that allows you to connect to the end and then you can spin it on there? Or do you want to put a plug in the front of it or have it coming out the side of this angle and then take a 3/8 female 3/8, hook it up to the end, and then now you can quick disconnect this hose reel. You don't have to use that quick connect. You can plug the male into this hose directly into that elbow and save a little bit of room here, but it's always nice to have the quick connects. Now on your hose reel, it's usually always a female at the end, but if it isn't a female, you're gonna need an adapter there. You basically just go down here and then you plug in, and that's what the swivel comes in really handy, because we don't want to bind this hose up, and we're just spinning that swivel and hooking up the hose to the hose reel. You can hook up an Uberflex 1/4" hose to a hose reel quite easily. What you need at the end here is a 3/8 female. Now, these sometimes are hard to find, especially in stainless steel. This is an M22 14mm thread on one side, and then a 3/8 male on the other side. We put that male in here, in that elbow, and then we have the ability to hook our Uberflex directly to the unit. But we have to feed the Uberflex through the hole right here, then bring it around, and then we can screw it into that 3/8. Now you basically want to move that elbow here kind of up so you can kind of feed this through here and get this set up just right. And you're basically just going to hose reel it up. Now I'm not going to show you here because this is going to be way too difficult. Now here's the real fun part. Hooking up your 3/8 hose to this, because since we don't have that swiveling M22 fitting, we have a stuck setting right here. Now sometimes these 3/8 hoses on one end, it does have a swivel, but I'm going to imagine that we don't have one. Now a lot of people would think just like the Uberflex that you feed through the hole here. The problem is when you try to hook this up and spin it, the hose is just going to bind and bind and bind and bind, and you don't want to do that. It's just easier to start on the outside, lay your hose directly flat out as far as you can, and now you can take your hose and spin it, and if it's straightened out, it's not going to coil much. Then once you're done, you're down to what you need and you're torqued down. Use Teflon tape. Then you put the hose through here, you pull the whole hose out, and then you spool it. So now everything's hooked up, you're ready to wash your car, you're ready to clean your house. Unless you didn't torque down everything properly, you didn't use Teflon tape, you might have some leaks. Go check through the leaks, get those fixed, and it's time to go. So I hope I helped you with this not being as confusing or intimidating, and also help people who just needed a different idea of their setup. So check out the links below. Don't forget, carswithkeith.com should be live. It's just a more digestible description of the video. All of these different things, and much easier to view with pictures and everything. And hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for the giveaway. So here's the giveaway. First, I want to thank everybody for 10,000 subscribers. Now, I had some viral shorts recently that bumped us up really quick. I was expecting 10K, possibly by the end of the year. We hit it before May. So I figured a few things have been given to me, and I have a few things laying around, and I bought quite a few things for this giveaway. Provided an active VE56. This is a single unit with no accessories at all. No hose, no gun, no nozzles, anything. Just the power cord and the unit, which is why we have all this other stuff here. So McKillen sent us a stainless steel M22 kit for the giveaway to hook everything up. You saw it earlier in the video. Obviously, your pressure washer hose, Uberflex 1/4" M22. That's why we have that kit. Now, Active also sent me a free trigger gun that I'm using for reviews, but that's my personal one. So I went ahead and bought you another one, so you have a brand new trigger gun. We got our spray gun. We gotta have something to spray, right? This does not come with the spray tips. So you have a McKillen's nozzle guard with a 4.0. That's gonna get you 1.9-ish, 1.95 gallons per minute. Now in this video, I decided, well, it's the whole package, but you don't have a foam cannon. Well, the foam cannon I really haven't used much recently, and that's the MJGC Pro version 2. This is really the only used thing in this whole setup. I have put new filters in it. I've cleaned it out as best I can, and it has a 1.25 orifice. So there is everything for the giveaway. Go to carswithkeith.com. There will be a page for giveaways. So if you visit the page every now and then, you can go to the giveaways page to see if there's anything new. I will be announcing them in the YouTube videos, and I'll announce them on my Instagram. But it won't be titled giveaway or anything like that. This is for people who actually engage with my content. So I want to appreciate you for 10,000 subscribers. Go to the website, carswithkeith.com. It'll help you make your buying decisions and then also giveaways. See you in the next video.